Good evening, America. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time before getting into it. I have found that the only way that I can do good music on here is to find cover versions of great songs. And sometimes it's easy to find great covers. Sometimes it's not. But I wanted to find a cover of this song, and I did. And it's a song that any of us hippies that know where it came from, we know who the Youngbloods are. And it was a very popular song for us. It was a big part of that whole movement. And I think it's a thing that all of us right now need to listen to, because we got a lot more in common than that which would divide us. Yeah, you remember this one.
Love is but a song we sing, fears the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, make the angels fly.
Some people out there that might look at that and think, Leo, you're hard on people. You come at people hard. Come at people hard when I feel that they're doing an injustice. When I see people that just don't seem to care, then I come at them hard. But if you're somebody that cares, I'm not coming at you hard. I'm looking at you and saying thank you. Jason, hello. Dorothy Tyndall, hello. My purpose in this today. I did a thing earlier. Somewhere about, I guess it would be somewhere around 11 o'clock, a little bit after. Stopped on the side of the road. My brother John Britovo following me in a car with his son Tyler. Now, anybody that's watching last night knows that John stopped by. It's a thing that, well, it wasn't a surprise to me. It was a thrill. It was a pleasure, but it wasn't a surprise to me. I pretty well figured that if John was going to make it all the way over to his brother's place in Knoxville, on the way back home, he'd be stopping by here. We've been pals for about 7 years now. We've been talking just like you and I are talking right now. And that's just on the internet. But last night he rolled in somewhere around 6:30. I had the fire already. We had a meal together. We had a very good meal together. And then we did a live. And then we had a great conversation. This morning, Valerie and I get up pretty early. Valerie doesn't get up that early, but I get up pretty early. And the fact that she had shifted into my bedroom and I got up and it caused a little bit of a disturbance with the dogs, I'm sure, is what got her up that early. And sat out there for a little while. And it wasn't long before Mr. John Britovo was out at the dining room table with me, and we were getting a cup of coffee and commiserating some more. My whole point in talking about this is John and I have become friends. I consider him a true friend. I consider him, at this point, a long-term friend, even though we just met and gave each other a hug yesterday. This morning, we stood looking over a valley in Tennessee and really, truly appreciating how beautiful this nation is. and gave each other a hug goodbye because he's on the road now back to Corpus Christi. And first of all, my wishes for safe travels. It's a crazy world out there, and all kinds of shit happens. And get home safe, John. They need you there. We need you here. But that isn't what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about breakfast this morning. Y'all know I live in a very red state. If you haven't looked at Tennessee's laws, if you haven't looked at our asshole of a Governor Bill Lee, if you haven't looked at let's suck up to the high-tech people and get a lot of money that is Marsha Blackburn, if you haven't looked at having on the state legislature floor the racism that can sometimes be here being fully exemplified by the need to finally push back and creating the Tennessee Three, which with any hope at all, Gloria Johnson will be taking Marsha Blackburn's place. But if you haven't seen all of that and realized that Tennessee is just about as red as you can get, you're not paying attention. But it is that. And I'm somebody that is a blue dot in this red state. I am that because, and I mentioned this last night, back about 7 years ago, I was already doing lives. I was doing a thing called Biker Wisdom, and my point in it was just to take individual snippets of everyday life and say, you know, I've been here for a while, and this happened, and a part of how I understand this is from being a biker. That was the original premise. And then I saw John Brittivo, and I realized that he and I have very, very common thought as far as what's good about this country and what could use to improve. That's how that started, and that inspired me to put my voice out there in this manner. And I've been doing that since, and y'all know that. Y'all have been wonderful because we too have that in common. We have those ideals in common. But I want to talk about breakfast this morning. It was at a place called the Cagle Mountain Trading Post, which is kind of a gas station, convenience store, curio kind of shop that also happens to have a pretty nice sort of meat and three restaurant that does breakfast and stuff attached to it. All the locals know it. It's a favorite place for many of us, myself included. And frankly, there one of the servers there, happened to be our server this morning, is someone that I have had to, until after this election is over, I cannot sit there and see what she posts because she is such a devout Trumper. And I'm sure she feels the same way about me. And that's okay. Sometimes you have to split like that. But all that said, while we were walking in today, and folks, you don't understand rural until you see something like Spencer, Tennessee, or one of our neighboring communities, next county over, next town in the next county over, which is Sequatchie County. The next town is Dunlap, Tennessee. We're talking rural here. Very, very rural. Walking into this restaurant that, you couldn't get more podunk. It just is. As we're walking in, a guy's getting into his truck. He's actually got the door open. He's about to climb up in and close the door, and he stops. And he goes, "John? Are you John Brittivo?" And he pronounced it wrong, but "Are you John Brittivo?" And John's staring. Oh, Lord, I'm in trouble now. This person lives very close to me, recognized a blue dot in Texas, recognized Mr. John Bridevo. And we had a conversation standing there out in front of this little hole in the wall. You will never find it. Place on Highway 111 in Dunlap, Tennessee. Here's a guy from Corpus Christi walking in that this man has only seen on the internet, and he recognized him and started a conversation. And I'm sitting there the whole time and I'm going, well, this guy recognizes him. How the hell does he not know me? Until I realized, oh yeah, I forgot. I shaved my head a little bit back. And that was what, and you're that biker guy. And I was, well, yeah, I am. Here's the point. We, this nation, I mean this larger nation, have so much more in common than that which would divide us. I need you to think about that for a moment. It's hard for me to get past the deplorables up here. That's what the split portion of the Republican Party calls themselves. Even have a little emblem they put on that says Republican rejects, and they are for cause. But the deplorables, even they, have got far more in common with me than that which would divide us. It's crazy. John Herron just said it. We're American. That's the important part. We're American. And we're not just American in as much as a bunch of... I may have just cut out there. My battery's dying. It's not just American by virtue of our complexion, by virtue of our loving our hometown lifestyle. We're American. We've got inner city people. We've got people like me that live so far out in the country, you would be very hard pressed to find us. John Bridevo passed by the house one time last night. Got kind of mixed up on the GPS. We have people that are American citizens in Puerto Rico. Let's think about that for a minute. I'm not going to sit here and insult you because you live in a demographic area that is poorer than a lot of the United States of America. Nor would most of the people here. They're not going to judge you on being poor. If they're going to judge you, then you have to question how and why they're judging you. I think that entirely too many of the MAGA movement and the deplorables, and I think that your name is apt, are judging not by the things we have in common, not by the things that we share. They're judging simply because you're different. So what? Who isn't different? John and I are like this. We really are. We're like this. We have so much in common. We can sit and talk for hours. We have been on the phone for very long conversations before we actually met last night. I'm going to say that, but I'm also going to say there's a guy up here. Now, I ended up meeting him kind of two different ways. One, his wife is very involved in the local Republican, not the deplorables, Republican Party. Two, he runs a business that I have come to find is one of my favorite. I have a meat processing place up here. And they are my friends. We have a different background, but we also have tremendous things in common. His wife, Denise, is from New England. Well, yeah, I talk like this now, but I'm a chameleon. I've assimilated. I'm from Connecticut. I know where she's from in Maine. And we have so many things that we talk about that are commonality. Now, her husband, Barry, is from here. We have tremendous things in common that we talk about. Now, I'm not going to say this with any level of surety. What I am going to say is that I know that both of them don't love Kamala Harris, but I know both of them certainly don't love the other guy. And I would not be at all surprised to find out someday that they didn't vote for the other guy. I probably will never find that out. And by the way, your vote is your vote. It's private. Nobody's going to find that out unless you tell them. Now, don't tell them unless you want to take the heat. You're going to take some heat if you're in an area like here because folks, unfortunately, have gone so far as to create a third party, which, okay, create a third party. Go ahead and be the deplorables. I wish that the real GOP would continue pushing until there was Democrats, GOP, deplorables. And then, if we're on the other side of that, get to the point where we decide those liberal ideas are great, but that's a little too close to socialism for me. Y'all be what you're going to be. And we'll all be just fine. In all of that, in the whole spectrum, all the way across, we have commonality. We're Americans. Tomorrow, I've got to do a couple of things. I got to go get a needle in my eye. That's a lot of fun. Actually, it's not as bad as it sounds. But then after that, I'm coming back home. Y'all know I've been helping my next door neighbor as much as I can. And his kids, his two sons that he has living with him, have become kind of grandchildren to me. To the point of, I got Jesse, the older of the two, to register to vote. Tomorrow, after I get back, having to wear heavy sunglasses because my pupils will be dilated, we're taking them down to vote. I don't know how they're going to vote. I have no need to know how they're going to vote. What I do know is they have a right to vote, and they should exercise that right. That's all of us. Do you see the thread here? It's all the way from the far left, whatever they end up being, if we do have a schism there, to the far right and the deplorables, and those of us that are Republicans and Democrats and are the real thing, and we're right in the middle someplace. We all have that commonality. We're Americans. Now, let's think about where we're going here. We are Americans. This country has made its way so many times with the far right doing everything they can to hold on to power by hook or crook. If you don't know what that phrase means, look it up. Holding on to power, whatever way they can, all about the money. Meanwhile, on the backs of the American worker, the most common of us. That's all of us. Maybe not the ultra-rich, but that's all of us. You have 6 days left. If you haven't made up your mind, I don't know what the hell you're dragging your feet for. The choice is clear to me. But if you don't make that same choice, I am not going to hate you. I am not going to attack you. What I'm going to say is I'm going to keep working against you. Because I don't believe that's where we should go if you don't make that same choice. One thing I know for sure, Jesse next door, I have not told him how to vote. I've told him my opinions about things. His dad, Philip, the guy that's caused me to try to do everything I can, I've not told him how to vote. I've told him my thoughts on it. You've got to get out there and do that. And you've got to keep those thoughts being spoken. I'm going to keep doing it. If for whatever reason we don't win, well, I don't know what my next decision will be on all that. But I know it's probably going to be to continue to push for the things I believe. And you should too. Now, I think you should get your ass out there, because tomorrow is the end of early voting in Tennessee, and it may be in your state. I think you should get your ass out there, and I think you should realize what a danger the orange shit stain is and do your part to make sure that that never happens again. But that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. John just said it. Resistance is not futile. It is not futile. It means we're going to work. Let's keep that work up. All of us. I want to thank my brother John Brittivo for being here. I want to thank his son Tyler for helping this trip that they took happen. I want to thank the Blue Dot family, who in a lot of ways made it possible. John is very like me in so many ways, and that includes, John is not a rich man, but it was made possible for him to get out there and see a huge swath of this nation. It's one we love. It's one we can make a difference in. Let's make sure we do that. All right, America, this was a soft one. I know that. And I'm going to start focusing on details in the coming days. But this one, let's just look at each other for who we really are. Let's understand that we can make a difference and we will make a difference, but we got to work together. Now, I am going to be posting this on the YouTube channel. I will tell you this, that helps me a lot. If you would go to the YouTube link, I always post it on my personal page. Go there, like, and subscribe. That will help a good deal. Whatever way you get it. Understand. I just inhaled spit. Understand that we have more, my wife is laughing about that we have more in common than that which would divide us. So, come on, people, now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another. I love you, America. Share this shit.
Returns for us to land. We are but a moment sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now.
What it's about.